Hello and welcome to Fast English 360 Stories, where learning English is as fun as a good joke and as insightful as a wise old saying. Today's story is called The Barber Who Cut the King's Worries. A witty barber with solutions for every problem. Now, what happens when a humble barber has the wisdom to solve even the king's biggest worries? Does he become the king's advisor or just a man with a sharp sense of humor? Well, get ready for a surprise, because this barber's sharp wit isn't the only thing cutting through the king's problems. So, let's get started and see how the haircuts lead to more than just fresh looks. In the heart of the village square, there was a small barber shop, tucked between a sweet shop and a tea stall. This shop wasn't just famous for its haircuts, but for the sharp wit of its owner, Mohan, the barber. Now, Mohan wasn't just any barber. He could cut hair, but he could also cut through people's problems with ease. People came to him not just for a fresh trim, but for advice, and for some, that was more important than the haircut itself. Mohan's shop was like a stage, and the people who walked in were his audience. Mohan always had a solution for everything. Got a bad haircut? He'd fix it. Got a broken heart? He'd fix that too, with a little humor and a lot of listening. And then came King Rajendra, the ruler of the land. The king didn't visit often, but when he did, it wasn't just for a quick trim. Oh no, the king had much more than bad hair on his mind. He had an entire kingdom to rule, full of chaos. One day, King Rajendra walked into Mohan's shop with a heavy heart, his crown slightly crooked. King Rajendra sighed deeply. Mohan, my friend, I've come to you for a haircut, but honestly, I need more than just that. Mohan grinned, holding up the razor. Well, Your Highness, you've come to the right place. You see, I don't just cut hair, I cut problems too. Now tell me, what's on your mind? And don't worry, I'm good at both. King Rajendra rolled his eyes. Everything is falling apart, Mohan. The farmers are angry. The soldiers are dissatisfied. My advisors are giving me headaches. The kingdom is in a mess and I don't know how to fix it. Mohan chuckled, starting to cut the king's hair. Ah, I see. Sounds like you need a little trimming in the royal department. Not just your hair, but your worries. Let's start with the hair. The rest will follow. The king raised an eyebrow, surprised. King Rajendra confused. You really think haircuts can solve these problems? Mohan, still smiling as he snipped away. Not the haircuts, Your Highness. It's the approach. You see, when I cut hair, I don't just chop away randomly. I listen to what you want and then I make careful cuts. The same goes for your kingdom. You need to listen to your people and then make the right decisions. Don't just cut corners. The king chuckled at Mohan's wit, but couldn't help but feel a sense of relief. Maybe the barber was onto something. King Rajendra. I see. So, what do you suggest? Mohan still snipping away with a sly smile. Start with honesty, Your Highness. When the farmers complain, don't hide behind excuses. Talk to them. Tell them what's really happening. And as for your soldiers, show them that you care. They'll fight better for respect than for money. The king nodded, beginning to feel lighter. The very next day, the king decided to test Mohan's advice. He called a town meeting and invited the farmers and soldiers to voice their concerns. He didn't give them empty promises. He spoke honestly, explained the situation, and even promised to work together with them. The villagers were shocked. They had never seen the king so open, so genuine. The mood shifted from tension to hope. But then something unexpected happened. One of the farmers stood up and spoke the truth. Farmer, nervously looking at the king. Your Highness, we know the crops are failing. But what about the drought? We've been starving and nobody's helped us. King Rajendra, seriously, you're right. The drought has caused much suffering. And I failed to address it earlier. but I will now. We will send help. The king's honesty and willingness to face the truth left the entire room silent. It was a game changer. From that day on, the king was no longer afraid of speaking the truth, even when it was difficult. Several months passed. King Rajendra began making real changes, listening to his people and making genuine efforts to solve their problems. And you know what? His kingdom started thriving. One day, King Rajendra returned to Mohan's barber shop, but this time he wasn't worried. His crown was perfectly placed on his head, and he looked more relaxed than ever. King Rajendra grinning widely, "Mohan, you won't believe it. I followed your advice. I spoke with the farmers. We came to a compromise. I reduced some taxes and they agreed to work harder for the kingdom. I even gave the soldiers a bonus. But more importantly, I showed them respect." Mohan nodding knowingly, "And how do you feel, Your Highness?" King Rajendra looking relieved. "I feel lighter." "It's amazing, Mohan. I no longer carry the weight of the kingdom's problems on my shoulders. I've realized that by listening to my people and cutting through my own worries, I've found real solutions." Mohan chuckling, "Well, Your Highness, you see, just like a good haircut, a good ruler knows when to cut through the fluff and get to the heart of the matter." And so, dear listener, the king's worries were cut away by the wisdom of a simple barber. The moral of the story is, honesty is the best way to rule, whether you are a king or a common man. When we face our problems and speak the truth, we find solutions faster than when we hide behind excuses. In life, we might face challenges, but facing the truth head-on is always the way to peace. Just like a good haircut, real leadership requires trimming away the excess, listening to those around you, and making changes with respect and care. Let's practice some English from today's story. Repeat after me. Idioms. 1. Cut corners. To do something in a quicker but less thorough way. 2. Cut to the chase. Get to the point. Avoid unnecessary details. 3. Crowning achievement. The greatest or most important achievement. Vocabulary. Snip that to cut small amounts off. Sincerity, honesty in your actions and words. Compromise, an agreement where both sides give something up. Thank you for listening to Fast English 360 Stories. If this story made you laugh and learn, subscribe, share it with your friends, and tell me, what's the most important truth you've learned from listening to others? Until next time, remember, true leadership comes from honesty, and that's the real crown to wear.